Anything else before we want to say goodbye?
I just want to say, we're talking about being old. I just want to get a quick shout out because I'm in my bird watching era.
What does that mean? Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's podcast time.
Oh, God.
Welcome to the Who F'n Kneauxs podcast. I should have said, Who F'n Kneauxs? That would have been more fun. That's a cool runnings joke if you didn't get it. My name's Patty V. This is Dave Rainey. We got Aaron Poole. Have you missed us? Probably not, and that's okay.
It's only been a week. Not even.
Well, if they watched
In
the
a
last episode.
formal setting.
Yeah.
I respect the hell out of anyone who watched the car ride from hell. We never finished. We did finish the game right before we got back to the house. We didn't put that on camera, though.
We did.
So, update. We made it work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, listen, it's the Who F'n Kneauxs podcast. This is episode 99 and a half, mainly because we can't let this be episode 100. We're just sitting in a room. We got to figure something out. And maybe we do 99.6, 99.7, 99.8. We're going to figure it out. It's like a radio station.
It's more so because I want to at least be able to have some drinks and at least celebrate if we're going to do it here. And I can't do that.
That's fair.
To the extent I'd like to.
We're still going Red Barn Pump after this. It's fine.
I will bust. If you don't think I will at the very least have another bottle of champagne in here next week, you are mistaken. I'll bring a bottle for each other.
Oh, episode 99.5. We're drinking champagne next week for episode 100. Who cares? Part of the Brew Bros Network. We got some things coming there, guys. Stay tuned for that. And that is also a part of the Be in the Know Network. We got my man Aaron Poole wearing a Zach Bryan shirt. This is you're like very matchy right now.
I know.
I'm feeling it.
And I had to wear the Bulls hat because one of my favorite players of all time retired this week. Shout out Derrick Rose.
D Rose. Sad day.
I mean,
It was a sad day.
just unbelievable when he first came to the league, and injuries like many great athletes just plagued him.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. He's 36, right? Or 35? Like the fact that he played to 35 with those injuries is nuts.
And he didn't play horrible when he was in Memphis for a little bit. You know,
He had a 50-point game in Minnesota.
Yeah. No, he just reshaped his whole game, which is very impressive. It's insane. It's, you love to see it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, some of those players like attached me to those teams. D Rose to the Bulls was a big thing for me. Steve Nash to the Suns was a big thing for me. And so just when those players kind of phased out, it's a little sad,
Oh, of course.
Now it's all the youngins, and I feel like it's going to be like that way when LeBron leaves.
Well, you know what it is, and I realized this a long time ago, it's just that you're getting old. And it's hard to accept, right? When your favorite players retire, it's like, yeah, but, it's sad. Yeah, well, getting old is sad.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
But there's some players, like he said, that it's more than that. It's like when Vince Carter retired. Like, I love basketball because of Vince Carter.
Yeah,
so
your childhood died, and now you got to find somebody new to support.
Yeah, but it's. I don't think it's that. Like, it's different for me when Carmelo starts retiring and I see his kids. That makes me feel old.
Yeah,
Vince Carter retiring wasn't like I felt old. It was just like, man, this is the reason I love basketball.
I didn't say it was going to make you feel old. I said it's because you are old.
I guess
there's a difference there.
I guess. Are there any other players like that? Like. Not like your favorite teams, because like for me with the Rangers, it's like when Adrian Beltre retired,
right?
But
yeah, that's because y'all could say Breeze, I could say Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, like are there any non-team people? Like Peyton Manning was one for me. Michael Vick was one for me.
I know he's not retired yet, but in this sense of the sport, you can't really retire. And Tiger Woods is kind of one for me. I know he's not retired, and he could still go out there and shoot 4 good rounds and maybe get another major. But just my time period of growing up and how dominant he was, just to see him, he's had some accidents, he's had surgeries, he's not the same Tiger that he was. So it feels like he's kind of retired, because every turn where you're like, man, this is the one, and then he's like struggling to make the cut, or he misses the cut, and you're like, is this it? Like, is he just going out there? And it's just like, for me, Tiger, like you said, Tiger was Vince Carter for basketball for you. Tiger Woods was golf for me, and why I got into the sport, and why many people got in the sport and continue to get in the sport. And
Yeah.
so it feels like he's retiring because I don't think he can really retire in golf. You can't be 75 and then you're like, I'm retiring. It's like, you retired technically like 30 years ago.
There's a senior tour. You end up just carrying it over.
I always used to ask that. Like when people retire from like an office job, they're like, oh, I'm going to go golf all the time. What is a golf? Is a golfer just like, I'm going to pick up bowling? Like, I don't, you know?
No, they still go play golf.
Yeah.
They're just not competing in a tournament anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I genuinely don't, like, nobody jumps out, right? If I had to name two people just randomly that kind of fit the mold, I would say Carmelo Anthony. Just because for me, it was like, dang, like, I really liked Carmelo's game when I was younger. Like, I appreciated the way he played the game. And like Boogie, like just watching some of these guys that I really appreciated, and then like now they're just not in the league. It's like, that sucks.
Yeah. It's for me, like when it comes to current players, it's the ones that are going to be like the end of an era. Like I don't really care about Aaron Rodgers, but when he retires, he is the last of that greatest QB era. And then, like, I don't think I'm gonna feel anything when LeBron retires because I feel like he should have been retired. For like, even though he's still like a top 15 player in the NBA, it's like we have been gifted probably 5 extra years of LeBron than we should have.
Yeah.
So it's fine. But like when
Still
KD,
good though, like you said. Like so.
When KD retires, like it feels like we're starting to hear like the Steph Curry retirement talks, and that feels weird.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know that you're not acknowledging this, but it's because we're getting old. Everyone gets old, and then people retire, and then there's a new wave of people that come in, and it's hard to admit.
Is Rodgers kind of like I wouldn't say talent level, but you said that last era of like good quarterbacks. Is LeBron kind of like once he's gone, it's like, all right, now it's the young crew? Or is there?
no,
I can't think of anyone besides LeBron that it's really like, all right, there's still blah, blah, blah.
I guess it's weird because he's still playing, but like because LeBron's still playing, but like he's been playing so long, I now group Steph into the group with him.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like KD and Steph are probably, maybe not KD. Steph is definitely the group after LeBron because the group with LeBron is Wade, Melo, and that group.
You got to think though, Bron was coming out of high school with that group, so they had a couple years on him.
Yeah, I almost put LeBron in like the Kobe class. He's been in the league so long. It's 20 years.
Yeah.
Like he's covered
Kobe
two.
came in way before LeBron.
Yeah, but he's covered like multiple generations.
Yeah.
But I've now grouped Steph because I guess it's because they've had so many battles with each other.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Like their primes were at the same time.
I think that's the thing. I think people forget how old Steph is though, because he was injured his first couple years, and he didn't really take off until year 5?
Yeah,
where he was really like, oh, that guy's really good.
And he was an anomaly too because he was at Davidson for so long.
You know who else it is in the group though is Chris Paul. That'll be one because he's in the LeBron class for sure.
Yeah.
Like
He was same draft.
it's not acknowledged that Chris Paul almost has as long of a career as LeBron with the injuries, which is nuts.
Yeah.
But like people keep talking, this is a whole different conversation now, but people keep bringing up like, oh, Steph's at the end. And I'm just like, why is this not a game that can play forever?
Oh, Steph could.
Like-
It's how long he wants to play is really the question.
Yeah, but they're like, people are like writing him, like, he's got a few years, he's at the tail end. And I'm like, I think if he really wanted to, Ray Allen played forever. And Steph is way better than Ray Allen ever was.
Yeah.
Like, Steph could play as long as Chris Paul is, for sure.
Yeah.
Because if he just decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to be a spot shooter. And he just transitions into the best spot shooter you've ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
to
I
think
won't
about.
doubt Steph for a minute. He could shoot forever. I mean, shooting doesn't leave you with age. So
Yeah, that'll be
Plenty of
one.
guys stayed in the league just because they can shoot.
Yeah.
They can do nothing else but shoot.
I mean, like JJ Redick. He's smart and he could shoot.
Kyle Korver.
Yeah.
Shit, even Steve Novak was
And
stayed on the Knicks forever because he could just shoot threes.
and then there's Steph, who is the greatest of all time at that. He could play as long as he wants.
yeah, 40,
That's what
45,
really made me think about it was they're like, oh,
70.
they were saying that's what did it was when they were like Steph and LeBron are in their last Olympics. And I'm like, LeBron, honestly, if he wanted to, probably could play again, but he probably won't. I'm like, why are we writing Steph off already? Unless he just said already like he doesn't want to. I'm like, Steph in 4 years absolutely could still be on an Olympic team.
Oh, for sure.
So it was kind of crazy that
I think the thing with LeBron is people just always assume that his game, because it's predicated on athleticism, was going to eventually take a hit, and he just I don't know if he's going to Germany every year in the offseason. I don't know what's happening, but that man is still fit as a fiddle.
It's nuts, dude. Like it's all mental with him now. Like his defense has taken a step back.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that. He can't do it every night like he used to be able to. Like when he wants to shut somebody down, he still does it.
Mm-hmm.
But like his offensive game, he's just like
he's smart too. That's another thing. Like he's just so damn smart.
That'll definitely be one where it's like when he retires, maybe he'll finally get. LeBron still doesn't get the amount of respect he deserves.
Yeah.
But when he retires and like you get to like rewatch the full like career highlight package and you get to relive the Miami years, you can be like, this dude is the greatest thing I've ever seen walking the earth. Like
maybe.
Do y'all feel like that way? I don't know, because for me, being a Steeler fan, Tom Brady, he was always like the arch enemy of the Steelers, and then he went to the to the NFC, and then I was like, all right, I don't really hate him as much, just because he's in the opposite division. But now he's commentating, and now I feel like I feel like if you weren't a Patriots fan for the longest time, you hated Tom Brady, and now he's kind of gotten a little more on the positive side, and I feel like LeBron, once he retires, maybe he'll kind of get that side where you're like, all right, now that he's not affecting how my team makes the playoffs or not, maybe I'll like him a little bit.
I think so, and it's unfortunate. I don't know how to put it in words, and it's something I've felt for a long time with LeBron. It's something about his personality that drives people away. Like sometimes it seems like he's one of those people that's kind of like a pathological liar. Not to, like I don't know, maybe he is, maybe he's not. But like the people that call him out for like he just lies, just a lot. Sometimes there's like many
like
videos.
he read this book, didn't actually read the book. Yeah.
Like you catch him in like interviews, and he's like, no, I saw your game, and it's like, no, you didn't. No, you. I could tell you're lying.
I think there's a few things that led people. I've never like hated LeBron, especially like as a person. Like LeBron is one of the best like people. He built a school. Like you build a school. Like
I'm not saying he's a bad person.
No. But as far as like LeBron the player, number one, he got the haters for the decision.
Yeah,
you're gonna have that. People are never gonna like let that go. Or there's a group of people that'll never let that go. Then he got the Tom Brady treatment where he's like winning so much that it's like LeBron fatigue almost.
Yeah, I mean, and that's real. Like that'll happen.
Yeah, and then it's like now in his older age, he has those games where he plays or those moments where he's complaining and he does all of that stuff, which is like part of the league now, and you almost have to if you're a star. Like, but that for me is the only thing that I don't like about LeBron. Period, is the way he acts now sometimes on the court.
Yeah,
but other than that, it's like I've also had this take for a long time that the older generation that grew up like with Jordan, it kind of hates him because he's the first like real threat to challenging Jordan being there. Like Jordan is the greatest of them ever. This guy is the first. Like you can make an argument for Kobe, I guess.
Yeah. But
LeBron is the first one that is like he is. If he's not there with Jordan, he's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Like the only argument you have anymore is he's got a few more rings. That's it. There's nothing else.
I think LeBron's longevity has really placed him up there in the conversation. It's hard to ignore it. I'll be honest. I am one that is a Jordan lover through and through. I will always pick Jordan in this conversation, but yeah, I think LeBron, like you have to at least listen to the argument.
I don't know how he feels, but like we came up on Jordan highlights. We aren't old enough to have witnessed prime Jordan in action. For my life, like in my lifetime, in live and in person, LeBron is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Easily. Like KD is great, but it's not on the level of LeBron. Kobe is great, but LeBron is still like the top of the top. And I don't know.
Well, it's different. Like you said, it's longevity, but it's also how good he is at his age. It'd be different if it's like, man, he's been in the league 20 years. He must be doing something right. But he's like putting up almost triple-double numbers, and he's been in the league this long. So it's like you got to respect it.
I don't care when he retires. He's going to retire a top 15 player. I just don't see a world where he's not a top 15.
Like when he retires, he will still be a top 15 player.
Yeah, like even if he retires, like if he says next year is his last year,
okay,
you're telling me there's no way he drops off to the point where he's not like top 15.
He's too big and still able to move, and he's probably the smartest dude basketball wise in the NBA, or one of.
Yeah,
and that's incredible.
He could transition into just like a passing point guard, and he'd be the best.
He'd be a point forward. He could literally post up every time and just.
That's it. And then if he really wanted to, if he just spent an off season only focusing on his three, he could be a little spot shooter. Like,
I disagree. That's the one thing I'm push back on. He can shoot a little bit now.
Yeah, but I say he has gotten a little better at the 3-point.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be a spot shooter.
I will never doubt him. Like if he says, "Hey, next year I'm gonna come in and shoot like 45% from three or 50% from three," I'm like, "Okay, I'll believe it until it's not."
He's athletic, but he's not like, I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to say agile because he is agile too. I just don't see him like dribbling, going to the paint and pulling up. I feel like you said, he's a post up. I'm going to dribble, shoot a three maybe in your face, but I just don't see him being a spot up.
It's always blown my mind because his signature move is like let me look at the ball and then pull up, and it's like you didn't even do anything. You just pulled up, and it just works. And it's like I don't know if it's what it is. It's like a half hesitation that lulls you to sleep, and then he's got an open shot. Like it's just little things that are savvy. It's almost like he plays like he's always kind of played like he's a 40-year-old man, but then he had this burst of athleticism that you also couldn't keep up with. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
It's wild. I don't know. Yeah. Hey, I didn't know we were going to talk about basketball or LeBron, but here we are.
We've gone 99 and a half episodes without ever really talking about like LeBron and Jordan. So I think that was good.
That was good.
What kind of leads into one of my topics?
What's LeBron at the Diddy party?
No. Yeah. We can get a Diddy maybe in a little bit.
Ooh. I think LeBron might have tried. No.
We had it wasn't like a full on argument, but it was a heated discussion with me and my wife because were arguing about
LeBron and Jordan.
If cheerleading is considered a sport.
Yes.
I love how his topics, he's like, this is connected. And then I'm like, this isn't really connected. But that's fine.
But it's sports.
Or is it?
Is it? Yeah. Technically, the NCAA doesn't recognize cheerleading as a sport.
So this was the argument. I'm sorry.
The initial argument was, I said, of course, females are going to, if they listen to this, they're going to love this take. But I said cheerleading is more of a hobby. It's not a sport. And NCAA technically doesn't recognize it as a sport.
Oh, man.
And my argument was that cheerleading isn't as physical as of a sport as baseball, football, and basketball.
Ooh.
Hold on.
You can't
tell me cheerleading isn't as physical as baseball. And I love baseball. Baseball, 90% of the game is you standing in one spot, taking a couple steps up and hoping a ball gets hit to you.
She did argue baseball, and I kind of stood down on baseball, but I feel like football and basketball are way more physical.
Well, that's obvious, but because it's not, nothing is as physical as football or hockey, I guess. But like, just because it's not as physical as that doesn't mean it's not a sport.
Right, you're not like slamming into people in cheerleading, but there's a reason people tear their ACLs and like blow their knees out. And like, there's a lot of cheerleaders out there that are like, oh, this isn't look at my knee. Like I'm done.
If you have to have some level of athleticism and you have to train for it, I think it's a sport.
I'm all in on cheerleading being
Swimming
a sport. Swimming is a sport.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm all in on cheerleading being a sport because it takes a high level of athleticism. First of all, there's competitions where you can win first, second, third, or you could just be a loser. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not discrediting that there's not athletes in cheerleading. I just, as far as it being a sport and being as physical, I just don't know.
It's not as physical in a sense. Like you're not running into people, but like you're not running into people in swimming or golf or NASCAR or whatever other sport exists out there, right? Like
I'm looking at it as like levels of athleticism here. Like I know you said you backed down on the baseball thing, but if we're looking at baseball as a sport, there are gymnasts and cheerleaders that could probably run circles around some of these baseball players athletically.
Have you seen some of them throw first pitches though?
Who cares? They're just but that's, have you seen,
you'd be a bad debater.
Did you see CJ Stroud throw a first pitch?
Exactly.
That dude throws a ball for a living. They're so, when you reach the level that some of these people are at, they're so specialized in that one thing, they just can't, it's almost like a pitcher. Like a pitcher is so specialized in throwing a pitch, he can't hit. And so it's like that's two different sports, pitching and hitting almost. You just, I don't know. Like it's a sport.
Cheerleading specifically too, the athleticism it requires. I know that we're kind of overlooking some things here. Like the stunts, first of all, whoever's holding up these girls have to be strong. Whoever, like there's a lot of flips, there's dancing, there's timing, there's a lot of specialization on top of the athleticism to all work as a team in unison and do certain things at a certain cue. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm over here like I've been a cheerleader. I've never cheerleaded in my life, but like I feel like.
So is breakdancing a sport?
I don't know, man.
Because it's not too much different than cheerleading.
It's way different than cheerleading.
Is it?
It's just dancing.
What is cheerleading?
Cheerleading
But
is
dancing,
more.
Dancing could be a sport.
It could be. It is. I guess dancing could be a sport. I feel like, in my opinion, anything that is a competition where you can win first, second, and third is a sport.
I think there has to be some level of athleticism in it. I think sports has to do with athleticism.
Does it though?
In my head, it doesn't.
Chess. Is
No.
chess technically a sport?
See, I don't see chess as a sport. I don't think the spelling bee is a sport. I don't think that but I think cornhole is a sport.
How?
I don't know. It just feels like
just throwing something.
yeah, but
like,
you gotta. I don't know.
It does.
I
take
mean,
precision.
by your measure, it's a sport.
It is a sport. I think it's a sport. I think darts is a sport. I think
I agree.
bowling is a sport.
Bowling.
You may look at them as less than, but it takes an amount of.
I feel like we need to power rank the sports.
There may be levels,
Yeah,
right?
there absolutely are levels. But
I guess I get confused with why like NCAA doesn't consider it a sport though.
because
That is interesting to
because
me.
the NCAA is a fucking joke. That is the problem with that. Like, you know why they don't recognize the sport? Because it doesn't bring in the money that a football or basketball.
But it should.
Right.
Absolutely. It should bring in the same amount of money as gymnastics, which is a sport. Like, I don't see why. I don't know. Now I'm going to go on a tangent here. I feel like cheerleading and gymnastics are almost not one and the same, but they're very similar in athleticism.
Yeah. You're not gonna get any pushback from me. When I watch these cheerleaders do things, like when we're on the sidelines and I'm watching them do something, I'm like, that I could never in my wildest dreams.
Ain't no way I'm doing like 3 back springs or
Right.
whatever. I don't even know what they're called. I call them flippa-dippas, and my wife makes fun of me when I watch them do this stuff. I'm like, look, she's doing all them flippa-dippas. She did like 3 of them, and then she went sideways and no hands. Wow.
I am clipping the shit out of you saying that it's not a sport, though. I want you to know that.
I mean, technically, I'm not wrong by NCAA
by the
standards.
NCAA standards. The NC.
Yeah. So sound off in our comments. Tell Aaron why you believe he's wrong or why you think he's right, and we'll take it from there.
It's a
I would
hot
love
take.
to.
I know. But
I love hot takes because it gets the people going.
she was arguing football. She was like, well, what is he play 4 seconds? And then she's like, and then you sit back and I'm like, yeah, but it's way more physical than it's constant contact to contact.
Yeah, I can't hold. Listen, I can't hold you on that one. We're not. Football's way more of a. I don't know. We're just gonna leave that alone.
So what is a sport? I guess that's what
I
for everyone to determine.
My idea, but yeah, I mean, if you got different thoughts, throw them out.
Yeah, you're the one that thinks it's not. So
Is it just because the NCAA doesn't sanction
yeah,
it?
that feels like a poor argument.
I think that just like strengthened my viewpoint
That's the
of
one
it.
you held
I'm
on
like,
to.
look, even the NCAA agrees with me. So I don't know. I just
because the NCAA is a spitting image for, I don't know, being smart about things.
except for, well, I guess now y'all talked about it on the Wave Watch with the NIL and how crazy it is nowadays, and people just leaving. And
Listen, the NCAA won't even be around in like 10 years, so
Yeah,
probably not the best thing to hook your wagon to.
I think if you've seen anything through NIL and conference realignment, it's that the NCAA is not needed.
yeah,
They can just go somewhere.
Yeah.
These conferences don't care about the NCAA anymore. They're like, it's fine. We'll just put 30 teams in a conference. We'll sign a TV contract, and you won't matter.
We're apparently missing game of the year, by the way. Speaking of the NCAA,
Really?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Georgia came all the way back.
Oh, nice.
Apparently. So
I had Georgia
crazy.
-1.
Did you?
They were
We were down 30-7.
they cut it to 4 when we started recording. So I don't know, but I'm getting all kinds of texts right now. Game of the year,
A lot of game of the
So,
years
you know.
going on lately.
Carson Beck.
whatever. Somebody said he looks like a horse. I don't know. I don't even know what he looks
I
like.
looked at his picture on ESPN and he's got like long wavy hair, and I'm like, it doesn't even look like the same person because now he's got the buzz cut. And interesting time. Did y'all see Reggie Bush is like going all in on USC, suing them for
Good for him.
everything? Like they're like, hey, you get your Heisman back for the NCAA, and then he's like, great, now I'm gonna go after my college.
Good for him.
It's like suing him for all kinds of stuff, and I'm like,
Good.
half the people were good for him, and half the people were like, all right, now you're overdoing it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, what can you ask for at that point? Like,
Yeah.
what are you going back? Like, things were illegal back then that happened, and you can't just go back and be like, well, it's good now, so give it all back.
Right,
Like,
and that's people's take on it.
then there's gonna be a lot of other. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bad precedent.
Opens the door a little bit.
Slippery slope, as they say. Speaking of slippery slopes, I've been trying to talk about P. Diddy for a while here.
Just Diddy.
Just Diddy.
It's just Diddy.
Just
He
Diddy.
doesn't. He dropped the P a while ago.
Well, I don't know. Did he? Did he?
I don't know. Did he?
Did he?
He may be picking up the P a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Have you? It's obviously been a lot of places. It's been all over Twitter.
P. Diddy?
I like to read on weird stuff, so I've been reading about it. But you may not have. So tell me what you know and what you don't know.
How about you just fill us in, and then I'll chime
Oh
in.
goodness! So he got arrested for sex trafficking, essentially. And there's just stories coming out about what would happen, essentially. And I don't know what's fact. I don't know what's not fact. But there's a lot of bad stuff out there. Essentially, like he would just throw parties and drug everybody, and then just do some bad things to him. And there was other people involved that would also help him do this. We'll see names that come out. Supposedly there's a list. Supposedly he recorded everything. So yeah, but when they went to his house and went to like go through his house, they found thousands of bottles of baby oil. So you mentioned slippery slope, and that's where my brain went.
My favorite excuse was like his lawyer being like, he lives by a Costco. And in my head, I'm like, well, yeah. That is something I would buy in bulk if I needed a lot of it. But
I don't think you need that much baby oil. Go ahead.
I did see the theory about the baby oil that supposedly had some kind of drug in it.
Yeah.
So when
It's
people
like
were lathering
liquid
up with
ecstasy or something like that.
So when they lather up the baby oil, they forget what they're doing. Whatever.
If they're lathering up baby oil, I feel like they're already in on whatever's happening, right? If they're just like, oh yeah, let me just, I don't think you need to forget.
Yeah.
Like,
we kind of talked about it like just in passing a little bit, where we were like, it is kind of weird when you start seeing these old pictures and videos come out now, and you're like, why didn't we think this was weird 10, 15 years ago? Like when this happened.
Yeah, like a 40-year-old man hanging out with a 15-year-old. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, like that's when they show all these videos. Like apparently there's a lot going on with Justin Bieber all of a sudden, like just being.
Yeah, because they think that like basically there was bad things that happened to him at these parties, and Diddy was basically using him as a sex slave. So essentially, the first rumors that came out, or part of the lawsuit or whatever, was that Diddy would hire male sex workers to come in and like have sex with people, and he would watch. But then like it went from there, and like there's other things that would happen, and like there's stories of girls that have come out and they're like, yeah, like I don't know, I feel like he spiked our drink and like did bad things, and then, I don't know, there's just all kinds of crap out there. It's just wild. And then you go through some of the pictures, obviously, of him with other celebrities, and it's like who's involved, who's not involved. There's so many people he's talked to, and then if you really go into the underbelly, if you really want to go conspiracy theory here, right? There's like all the people think he's like into like the Ellen DeGeneres thing with like the little. Have you seen like the red face that's on all this stuff? So there's like I don't know all this shit. I'm gonna sound like an idiot to the people that know. They're gonna be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And be like, well, you're kind of weird for knowing all this. First of all, but essentially there's like they think there's like a pedo ring, right? I'm talking that weird like anonymous shit that people were talking about during the Trump days. But like it's weird when you start going down the rabbit hole of like all these celebrities have like this little like red face thing, and I don't even remember what it's called. It represents something. Like there's like a video of Ellen wearing a hoodie where she's got it on her hoodie, and then there's like in some celebrity's house it's like on the wall, and then like there's Lady Gaga at like the VMAs one year like wore the outfit basically and like looked like it, and then there's like Tom Hanks in a movie where like Wilson is like the red face, and they just think they're all pedophiles.
It's like the celebrity Illuminati for pedophiles.
Conspiracy.
Yeah,
it's fun. I like reading about this shit.
I wouldn't even be surprised if like half of the like celebrity industry was turned out to be pedophiles. Like that would be the least surprising thing.
Yeah,
I think I've ever.
Well, what's crazy is like Usher, who was supposedly rumored to be involved in a lot of this stuff. All of a sudden, his Twitter every tweet gets deleted, and then when he comes back on, he's like, oh, I was hacked. Sorry, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, now you're hacked and all your like tweets that could get you in trouble are deleted.
Yeah.
They're like hacked.
I think all those R&B artists are a little freaky.
Even
I mean, their songs
That's what I'm
tell
saying.
you.
Meek Mill.
Listen, there's a lot of them.
There's Meek Mill specifically. There's like a video of him in a pool after a Diddy party, and he's like awkward. Like, looks like he had some things done to him.
Yeah. Meek Mill's just a weird ass dude though. Like, there's sometimes you ever see like he would. There were times where he was searching for something on Amazon or whatever. It was like the weirdest shit. It was linked to his Twitter, and it like posted it that he was searching for it, and people were like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That's the worst about Twitter, getting rid of those likes.
The
next some weird shit. You're like, this politician's liking all these porn tweets. What the hell is going on?
I remember, like, he didn't even realize that it did it, and his next tweet was, "How do you unlink your Twitter from your Amazon?" or something like that.
Well, he tweeted out last week. He was like, "Me and my team are investigating who is like incriminating me and all these stuff with Diddy," and they're like, "You." They're like, "There's photos and videos of y'all together. Like, what do you mean? Me and my team are investigating?" They're like, "You have it in pictures and videos." Like, what?
Meek is a different breed of human.
It's very interesting.
You were talking about conspiracy theories. Unless we have more on Diddy, I did some Googles of the top conspiracy theories people actually believe in, and I found one.
Oh, let's go.
Maybe we can make this.
We don't have to dive into Diddy. I just wanted to bring it up because we've been
prefer
ignoring
not
it.
to dive into Diddy.
Full Diddy.
No Diddy.
I made a joke yesterday. I don't know why. I just felt like it was hilarious, and I'm like, I'm going full Diddy.
That's the new one now.
Never.
So this was, I think it was 101 conspiracy theories that people actually believe in. Okay. This was the number 5 one, that Disney created Frozen as a distraction. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I've heard this one. Go ahead, though.
Have you heard about it?
I feel like it doesn't come to mind, but I remember seeing something about how Frozen was connected somehow.
So, obviously, there's a conspiracy theory that Walt Disney was
cryogenically frozen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They claim that Disney created the movie Frozen so that when people would search Disney and Frozen, it basically hacks Google's algorithm and takes it over to hide any research of that.
Yeah. So now you can't look up if Walt Disney was cryogenically frozen, because if you type Walt Disney Frozen, it's just going to show you Anna and Elsa, and you're going to be like, oh, what a cute little movie. I actually believe that one.
I was going to say, you're the king of conspiracy theories.
I think
it's
very
what you believe in?
Plausible. I don't think it's as deep as like what that probably says. I think it's that they had this movie about an ice witch, right? I forget what the original book is. And I think they just decided, oh, we should name it Frozen, because then we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, which makes sense to me. It's plausible.
It is. Those are the best. We've talked about it. Those are the best conspiracy theories. The ones that you can actually, and that's probably one of the more like, I don't want to say believable, because it's weird to,
right.
Like, I don't know how to explain.
Do you think they just accidentally fell into that? Like, probably not.
Yeah, but like, the reasonable side of it would be like, they're tired of people, like, the Walt Disney thing isn't real. They're tired of people talking about it, so we create this movie, which would still kind of make this true, but for a different reason.
I'm not saying Walt Disney's head is frozen underneath
I kind of hope
Magic Kingdom. I have no idea about that. That's kind of wild, but maybe it is. I don't know.
I'd be, you know what? If it is, cool. I don't care. It doesn't affect my life in any way.
Is there a secret magic tunnel at Disney?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not secret. It's there. Oh. Everybody knows it. Well, not everybody, I guess. The kids, people that are on show and on stage don't talk about it, but it's there and exists. It smells awful. It smells like garbage.
It's old cafeteria.
No, it smells like garbage. There's like garbage chutes, and like it stinks.
Yummy. The magic's gone.
The magic is gone. Sorry if I ruined your magic. Don't let kids watch. Maybe beep out that part.
I didn't hear what you wanted me to beep out, so it stayed in.
It doesn't matter.
I was just scrolling through these other ones to see if there was any other good ones.
I'm always a protector of the show at Disney. Like, we went to Disney with my mother-in-law and my daughter, and we were in line to meet Chewbacca. And there was a question that came up where it was like, yeah, like, how tall do you think the person is? And I looked at my mother-in-law and I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, the person. I was like, Chewbacca? She's like, yeah. And I was like, that's Chewbacca. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. And I got like very serious.
It's like, you don't ruin it.
It was mainly because my daughter was right there. Yeah. I was like, stop it.
Yeah.
She is 5. Let her believe in magic.
You gotta respect.
There's only so much happiness.
We're here. Be in the immersion.
There were no other good ones.
Really?
There was like, there's the popular ones
Bummer.
like JFK and Earth is flat and all these other ones.
Some of those are true. The Earth's not flat, but I'm not going that far. Maybe it is. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a little speck of dust.
There was the Loch Ness monster
Matter.
one.
That's a whale's penis.
Yeah. I don't, there was no. That was one of the only ones where I was like, maybe this isn't super popular compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
So I was like, that one was fun.
Trust me, I see conspiracy theories and I'm like, yes. And I read about them and sometimes I'm like, oh, this is plausible. And other times I'm like, this is dumb. And I just move on with my life.
I tried to. So the way I found that site, I Googled conspiracy theory of the day, hoping that I could just find a site. And every time we record, it would just give us a conspiracy theory to talk
That's
about.
a good idea.
But it did not.
That's a good
If
idea.
anybody wants to create a website about the conspiracy theory of the day, we will visit often.
I feel like it's easier to get people to believe in conspiracy theories. Like they had some a few days ago. It was like the face behind the moon, and it was like people zooming in the moon from different like areas of the country, and like it looked like there was a face staring at the moon. And I'm like, everyone's like, is this real? Probably not. Is this AI? Maybe.
Do you
But
think we could?
Is there a chance?
Do you think we could successfully create a conspiracy theory?
Probably. They all follow the same like method. Like most of these random ones that come out online, it's like some plausible thing. They connect it to this one other thing that kind of makes sense. And then they come in with like, yeah, but don't believe me. Just do your own research. Trust me. Like you need to go look into this. And then they say something else somewhat related that's believable, but it's not exactly related. And then they say it again. Just again, do your own research. Nobody's doing their own research. They just believe this person because they sound confident. And these two things happen to relate. And then now you got a new conspiracy theory.
I think if you could gather up 100 people and get them all to start doing like TikTok supporting your theory, you could make it believable.
The big one I've seen on TikTok this past week, ironically, was there's this pastor, and supposedly he looks and sounds exactly like Elvis.
Supposedly.
Ooh.
So people are saying, everyone in the comments are like, you can't deny it. This is Elvis. He didn't die. He went away for a while and he came back and he playing the piano. He has the same slicked hair, but it's all grayed out.
Elvis was at the UL Tulane game. We saw him.
He was.
I did.
We saw him. He was
front
there.
row.
That guy was there.
I feel like that's the big one that people lean into is like, this artist isn't dead.
Yeah.
He's actually living out in blah, blah, blah. Like Bob Marley had a big one for a while.
We're going to die before people think Tupac. Like, at what point do we think Tupac just died of old age? Like,
Guys, Tupac's dead. Sorry.
if he wasn't dead then,
Yeah, Diddy killed him.
how long how long can you stay in hiding and stay alive?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know.
That's my whole
I don't
thing.
know.
Like,
Ask Hitler, because apparently he didn't die. He went to South America.
it's just, those are the ones, to me, it's just like, at what, you can't tell me this many years later, he's not like, you know what I want to go do? Step out and get some sun. Like,
Hi, I'm Tupac.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
Oh, my, I knew it.
he's already sitting in his house or wherever he's at, just like, I wonder how long I can stay in here before I could go outside. And there's just a whole generation of people that don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
Also, like, this day and age, you could probably go outside and just be like, yeah, I'm an impersonator.
Mm-hmm.
People think the impersonator is you anyway, so you might as well just go live your life.
So live your life.
Hey.
Love this podcast.
What else we got?
I don't know. I haven't known what I was doing since I sat down. We just been winging it.
I meant to ask this kind of random. I meant to ask this last week when we were ironically on the road, but it was too short of a road trip. Last time it was 2 hours, but we drove to Georgia a few weeks ago, and I was just curious what your guys' is. When you're on a 7-8 hour road trip, what is your game plan? Like, are you music for a couple hours, then your podcast for a couple hours, then your, just silence maybe for a few hours? I was curious because it was 7.5 hours. Music lasted me like 3 hours, and then I was like, all right, I'm tired of listening to this. Then I switched to podcast for a little bit, and then after a while, I'm like, all right. I was like, I don't know what to do for like the next couple hours. So I was just curious if you guys are music the whole way, if you guys are podcasts, you guys listen to stand up.
It's funny because we're about to do this in a couple months. Not together, but for me, there's a lot of variables here. It depends on who's in the car with me. Like when we went to Disney, I think we had some music on, but It was really just like talking the
Yeah,
whole
like
time. If
conversation.
I have somebody up with me to like have a conversation, I don't even pay attention to what's on.
Mhm.
But like if my wife's up in the car with me, it's like it's music because she's not going to want to listen to my podcast. But like the second she falls asleep, I'll put podcast on because I feel I don't like I have a theory like if my podcast is a 3-hour podcast, it almost feels like the road trip goes by faster because the episode is going by and I don't realize it. It makes the trip go by faster.
Who's making
Also,
3-hour podcast?
well, it's like
Sorry.
the Lebron
Jesus.
show is a daily
Rogan made
show.
something
that's-
that
Yeah,
long.
that's true.
like it's a daily show that's 3 hours, but so it's not they call it a podcast, but it's more of a like a sports show, right? But it's funny, so like those things also keep me up. Things that I like. That's probably why you listen in stand up. The laughing keeps you awake. I couldn't just listen to like a boring like sports podcast. I mean, I guess I could for a little while, but after a while, I'm like, all right, this is also making me tired.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel it out. I'm as you can tell from this podcast, I just all vibes. All vibes, no brains. I just figure it out as I go.
Ideally, you just have somebody there to keep you company.
Yeah.
And talk about like we had me, him, and Chad, and then our wives when they were awake. We had enough people in there to just have a conversation going the whole time.
Yeah, I think that's ideally I would prefer to just talk the whole time because it keeps me awake. But if that's not happening, music, I don't do podcasts a lot, but I probably could. Probably be better. Comedy's a good choice. I haven't done that in a while, but
I've even thrown like a show on, like because like the cars basically drive themselves now, so you just put the show right there. And it's like, all right,
when we were driving back from Disney, actually, that's what we did. It was the first week of football.
Yeah.
And we threw on Thursday Night Football where Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. And like in the
right.
first 2 seconds, I was like, oh,
yeah, that woke us up.
Yeah.
I guess I'm awake.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Have y'all tried audiobooks? I tried briefly to do reading books or listening to audiobooks, and it's just I can't do it.
No.
I can't focus on.
I use books to help me go to sleep. Honestly, like my entire life, I've never been able to. I was gonna say I've never been able to read. But
I can't read.
I can only listen to the words.
like legit, like when I was in school, like reading a physical book, I'd fall asleep with the book in my hands, and then even like
I'm just picturing like Narcos.
Yeah, they hate you.
it almost is, dude.
They
And
hate
then
you during reading. What is it? Where it's like each person reads a paragraph,
Yeah.
like popcorn.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then even if
Like
you,
Dave.
falls asleep.
and unless it's like an audiobook where the person is like really into reading it like to you and using like but if it's just like a boring thing where they're just reading like that will put you, that monotone voice will put you to sleep quicker than anything you've ever heard.
Can we talk about how funny popcorn reading used to be back in the day when they got on somebody who clearly could not read, and it's just
Terrible.
common courtesy. You're just like, just please get through the paragraph before I burst out laughing.
I used to feel bad.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, do we have to make this person
Yeah.
read?
Because
The
everybody's like,
the teachers couldn't, and you're like, oh Jesus, it's like
it's okay,
you got
buddy.
it, buddy.
Listen.
Then the worst part is too, it's like some of them weren't even like if they're just reading to themselves, they probably read perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's like you're making this person read to other people. They're not comfortable with it. Like, no, just stop.
The
Terrible.
best is when they're not paying attention. You're like, where are we at? Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know. I was just curious because growing up, we used to drive to Oklahoma a lot, so it was a totally different dynamic. Like we had the old split screens that you put the DVD in. My mom was reading a book. My dad would have his headphones in, listening to rock, drumming the front steering wheel, and it's just like,
With thumbs.
yeah, oh yeah. Everyone's got their thing. So I was just curious because I struggle to figure what to do for the.
What's the
reception.
best song to drum on the steering wheel to? Like Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. Do, 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 do.
My first reaction was Chop Suey.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I don't know.
I just had to fade away. Yeah, that's right. I know the
I
words.
don't think it's
I don't know. I don't have a Phil Collins is good.
Why'd you leave the keys above the table? That's a good one.
This is not a half episode. Let's wrap it up.
Shit. Yeah, we're at 50 minutes almost. Okay, we could close it out. It's been 40 minutes. It's been a fun podcast. Anything else before we want to say goodbye?
I just want to say, I mean, we talk about being old. Just want to get a quick shout out because I'm in my bird watching era.
What?
What does that mean? Like actually bird watching?
Big birds?
So there's this app called the Merlin app. It's free.
Okay.
And it is like Pokemon for grown adults, is what I take it as. Is you can be outside, you hear a bunch of birds, you click the little button like Shazam on your phone, and it recognizes any birds that's chirping.
And what do you do with this information?
You get to collect it. And you have your recordings, and it shows you all your birds.
I'm going back and forth between whether or not I want to roast you or really appreciate it, because it's cool. It's cool. I appreciate it.
And you thought talking about LeBron was what made him old.
I
That's what I'm saying. You said I was old. I'm like, does this get any older than this? That I'm like, ooh, a hawk.
I'm picturing binoculars. Like, are you also wearing shorts above your belly button now?
I should though.
What's really
it's coming.
Long socks.
It's coming.
What's really making me laugh? What's really making me laugh is that my 80-year-old neighbor was super excited about the other day when I was in the yard talking about his new hummingbird feeder. That's all I can think about right now. It's like he was so excited. Here's 30-year-old Aaron just, I got a bird app on my phone.
Hey, it's the little things.
Hey, if that's what makes you happy in life, good for you, man.
That's good. It is kind of intriguing sometimes to see birds that you don't expect to see. Like I remember growing up, it was always a big deal when we saw like a cardinal or a blue jay or like an eagle or like a hawk. I saw, dude, the other day I was driving and I saw like 3 hawks eating a carcass of something, and I was like, those are birds of prey. Okay,
in the wild,
and they're big. They were big ass birds, and I was like, whew. Man,
I feel like remember it used to be like a thing to see an eagle. Now I feel like I see them all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Are they not endangered anymore? They used to be endangered.
Maybe.
That's why it was a big deal.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
like owls.
I've always wanted to see one of those big ass bald eagles though. It's like the size of a grown ass man just walking around. You ever seen one of them?
I just pictured something awful, like an eagle walking. And I was like, jeez.
Well, you ever see those videos? They like attack like small deer, and they just
no,
take
but I have seen videos where like children have been picked up.
Yeah,
like, oh,
they get the like the goats and sheep. They'll be climbing on the cliff, and they're like, plink, off you go, and it's just like
all good till an eagle takes your baby.
Watch out for the talons. Yeah, that's all. That was just had to show
I love
my
that.
bird watching area.
great way to close it out.
Cool.
Top 5 birds, go.
Shit.
There's a hawk.
Hawk is a bird, yeah.
Almost said, there's a hawk, a bird.
Larry. Larry Bird.
I know. And now I'm lost, Sue.
Yeah. You're playing the game. Just like I was trying to give you my top 5 roads the other day. You're playing the game.
I hated that. I was like, what?
I don't have another bird.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was trying to think of a person bird, but doesn't help.
That's okay.
I'm a cardinal.
Demir Bird? Wasn't that a receiver?
Demetrius
Bird. Yeah.
LSU.
There you
Shout
go.
out. Go Tigers.
Dwayne
Coach
Bowe.
O was at the Tulane game today. We don't have to talk about that.
Dwayne Bowe.
Yeah. All right.
All-time great fantasy football name. Somewhere over the
Oh, yeah.
Dwayne Bowe.
My favorite. Okay, we'll close this out.
I
What's
know
your?
what your favorite is right now.
You do? What is it?
My neighbors think I'm selling.
No.
Oh, is it
Hold on.
changed? I feel like you said it was your favorite at
It
the beginning of
was.
the year.
Now it's Stepborough. I'm stuck. I saw it.
Hey,
Wow. I stole it. I'm not going to lie. I have Burrow on one of my teams. I was like, yes. Yeah, taking that.
I like it. We got one in our fantasy league right now. It's 2 girls, 1 cup. It's always
Yeah.
classic.
I've heard that before. That's good. Neighbors think I'm selling dope was good too. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I do. I think that one a lot of people took though.
Yeah.
Like I saw it everywhere. This one, I saw a random TikTok of like a women's fantasy football group, and they all said their names in like their first round draft pick. Yeah. And she was like, "My team's named Stepborough. I'm stuck." And I was like,
That's amazing.
"Oh my gosh,
I love that. I love that.
that's horrible and awesome at the same time."
That was good.
Love it. Close us out.
Bye. Follow us.
Yeet. Yeet.
I'm Batman.
I don't know why it's so funny.
It's like Batman needs a cough drop.